This, like this, how is it best? Mark.
If you got start, yeah, there, print outs would be good.
We're live apparently all the time, so we have to be careful what we say. We're going to the bathroom. I don't think so.
The whole day.
I'm pretty sure.
So there's nowhere here. Hang on.
You all mic'd up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, we can turn them off. Come on. They say like we're live the whole time with these, right? So can we turn it off here? If we're like going anywhere? Right, so for the rest of the game.
Can we, Mark, can you slide that way a little bit?
Yep. You okay? That enough?
Yeah. Potential for splinters.
I saw that. Well, if it was when I sat down, it was right there, so I felt that. I went straight into it. What was I going to say? So we're mic'd up for the whole day. Between the matches. Oh yeah. So we can do
Only the purest of thoughts. Don't say anything you'll regret. Okay, I gotta listen to this real quick.
We're okay with it. Yeah, we're all right now.
Thank Kevicius.
Jordan.
Cool bucker.
You were saying cool bucker a lot.
Cool bucker. This is a difficult one. Geodritis. Sedekerskis. Gabrieliauskas. Vasiliauskas. Gauskas. Masulis. Slavinskis. Kuzkas. Jokobaitis. Sounds like they're saying Kuzkas. Let me see if I can. Listen to the second one. Stankevichus?
Yeah.
Kulbaka? Giedraitis? Sedekerskis? Gabrieliauskas? Vasilauskas? Žukauskas? Mačiulis? Slavinskis? Yeah. It's incredible. This kid's only 16.
Yeah.
And he's good.
Oh yeah. There's your start list.
Oh good. Good. Excellent. We got it. Interesting. They don't have the results there, unfortunately.
I've got those. They haven't been tested at all.
No, not at all.
I mean, like 40, 30, 38.
Italy have really been tested.
Oh yeah, I mean Italy have had 3 tough games.
Yeah. So
I don't think. See, like in last year's 18s,
yeah.
Lithuania's only shot 20% from the 3 for the whole tour and the final. They're like up at 40%. That's because no one's guarded.
Yeah.
Are we live now? Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh. We'll talk later. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the desert. We are in Cairo, the Cairo Stadium Indoor Hall. It's July 7th, and as you can see, it's the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup. It's quarterfinals day.
We can't hear each other.
And first up, Lithuania and Italy will be followed by the quarterfinals of Argentina, Spain, France, Canada, and Germany, the USA. Well, Lithuania unbeaten, rolling to huge victories here at this event here in Egypt. Italy with that one defeat. Hey, look who's here, Michelle O'Keefe, the head honcho of Canada basketball. And her team is going to be playing later today. Some of the fans showing up for this great event. Always at Under-19 World Cups, you always see the great young talents that are emerging, that are going to be the real stars. And it's not going to be that long before they take off, their careers take off. And already at this tournament, Mark, we've seen a lot of great talents. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Clark. And Mark, it's an interesting opener that we have today. And, you know, I think we both agree that perhaps Lithuania, while they've been putting up big numbers, they haven't faced the type of competition that Italy have. Italy have played the USA, and they had to survive a real tough game against Japan.
Well, they've had the Italians having those 2 games that they're winning by single digits. I always think if you can win those games, that really helps you when you get to the sudden death nature of a quarterfinal. You're battle hardened. The other thing about this intriguing tie is that these teams from the last year European Championships all know each other really well. They didn't play each other, but they were the 2 silver and bronze medalists. And for me, it's just one of those great moments because you're seeing great talent. But they're already great players, so you're in for like what will happen to these guys, but also they're already playing at a level, they're already achieving. And I think the test for Lithuania is that can they keep that 3-point shooting percentage up against an Italian team that's obviously going to be well prepared and is going to try and take away that threat.
Well, you can see Italy lining up here before the opening tip. Of course, Italy's national team over the years, the senior national team, they've really been on the map. Got the silver medal at the Olympics back in 2004, and I know their country is hoping that the good times are going to return. They didn't make it back to the Olympics last year, but what this Under-19 World Cup shows is that this country has a lot of talent, and they're hoping that it's going to continue to gel and develop, and by the time they make the big climb. As for Lithuania, well, you know what Lithuania basketball is like. Ramontas Grigas, the coach, he's really come here with an exciting team. That Lithuanian tradition, always eating at the big table. They're always among the top teams. They play at Olympics, they play at FIBA Basketball World Cups, they play at Eurobaskets, and these kids are the next stars of that country. Now we're going to have the playing of the national anthems for both teams. Italian national anthem, and now we'll have the national anthem of Lithuania. Okay, so the national anthems have been played for both Italy and Lithuania, and now these players, who of course many of them have come into contact with each other over the years in other youth events, meet at mid-court, also the coaches, and we're just under 3 minutes away from the start of the first quarterfinal here at this Under-19 World Cup. So, Italy, Lorenzo Pena, number 4, leading them in assists, and down there at the bottom, Tommaso Auxilia, the shooting guard, leading them in points at 12.5 points per game, and also 8.3 rebounds per game. Pena is in the starting lineup. Auxilia is not. Majola, Bucarele, Mezzanotte, and Okeke are in the starting 5. For Lithuania, you have to talk about Sedikerskas, number 11. Jokubaitis, just 16 years of age. Boy, he has really made his mark. He is in that starting lineup. And also Kulica, the shooting guard, number 8, is a terrific talent. Big as well at 6'9", playing the shooting guard position. He really gets up and down the court well. This is a Lithuania team, quite frankly, just pours in the points. The referees from Venezuela, Turkey, and the United States, Daniel Garcia, Yener Yilmaz, as 2 of the referees, as well as Matthew Albert from the United States. So we are just a minute and a half away from the start of this FIBA basketball, this Under-19 World Cup. Andrea Capobianco, the coach, and he's had a busy summer. He just coached Italy's women at the Eurobasket Women in the Czech Republic, and of course Rimantas Grigas is the coach of Lithuania, who, by the way, also has experience coaching women's basketball. He coached Belarus and has also been a coach in the EuroLeague Women with Ekaterinburg. So, Mark.
Well, both teams, we may be looking at under-19 players, but we're looking at 2 of the most experienced coaches in European basketball, let alone world basketball. So they're not going to want for anything off the bench. I'm amazed at how in that pressure cauldron that they've come through in Eurobasket, how these Italians are going to cope with another pressurized situation. But the thing that intrigues me most, Jeff, is that both of these teams get a lot of productivity from the perimeter. They try to run, they try and shoot the ball. There's always an instinct to gain shoot. So which team's going to control the glass? Because that'll control the tempo. And the Italians are going to make this a slow-down, thinking man's game. If the Lithuanians get out and run, they've just got too much firepower for them. So can Italy control the tempo? If they can, then this is going to go right down to the wire, and that's where I always favor them. They've got that battle-hardened experience already in this tournament.
Well, you talk about Lithuania, I mean, they have really been pouring in the points. They're up around the century mark, and they're getting a lot of points off turnovers, 32.5 per game compared to 21.3 for Italy. You look at 45.5 points per game in the paint, a lot of that coming in transition. And here you see the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup. Lithuania and Italy about ready to tip it off here in Cairo, Egypt.
Yeah, just before we come out, you know, they get going, Jeff. I'm intrigued to see Jakubaitis in the flesh. You know, the 16-year-old starting on a Lithuanian team, 3 years young. He's pretty, by reputation, that makes him pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. Jakubaitis, Sweet 16, and in a country where basketball is religion, that's quite an honor, and he's living up to it as well. Well, good afternoon, everybody. The clash between Lithuania and Italy is underway. It's the FIBA Basketball Under-19, FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup here in Cairo. And Lithuania have yet to lose, but we expect them to be tested here against this talented Italy team. Sedikarskas misses with his first three, and Pena hands the ball off. Okeke gets it down low. Mazzanotte turns on the baseline and got a lot of room. Quick rebound, outlet pass to Jakubaitis from Lithuania. And hands it back. And now the drive was no good from Jakubaitis. And sweet dish to Okeke, but he misses the dunk. But the interception, and now this is not going to be missed by Mazzanotte.
Well, you've already seen, you mentioned it right at the beginning of coming on air. Lithuania have been rolling teams over. You know, they get an open look in the three, they can't knock it down, a little bit more contest. The penetration's taken a little bit more to the short corner as opposed to the ring. So this Italian team already is making a little bit of a statement. And then on the break, going straight at the heart of the Lithuanian defense. This is a great sign for Italy the first couple of possessions.
Well, Pena has the assignment guarding Jakubaitis. And of course, we know that Lithuania want to push the tempo as much as possible. And then when you play that style of game, you're going to turn the ball over. And they've already turned it over once. And a quick entry pass to Sedikarskas, and he draws the foul.
That's always that when you're playing against Lithuanian teams, so much movement away from the ball, even on and out of bounds, that they're just scattered before the game. They get lost on a pick, and the help was a little late. But you've just got to you've got to communicate when you're playing against a Lithuanian team that moves very well off the ball, sets a lot of screens. If you don't communicate, you're going to get lost, and that's exactly what happened there.
Tadas Sedikarskas comes in averaging 14.8 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists, and also comes in shooting 60%. He made 9 of his 15 free throws in this tournament. And he finally gets it to go in. Of course, he plays at a high level, plays in Spain's top flight already, so he has a huge future ahead of him. Now, Mazzanotte turns. Oh, nice footwork, and just had his way.
It's a great second move, isn't it? Just got the guy in the air, look at the replay, there's the in the air, waits and finishes.
Well, Gadaliauskas didn't foul him, and quick response that time from Sedikarskas. Pajola over to Mazzanotte, and front rims it. And Sedikarskas can rebound and push it himself.
Oh.
And then he drives in, puts it up off the glass, and earns another trip to the line.
Well, he's going to freeze the defense by looking high and then just crosses it over. Tough looking move. I mean, I hope we get a replay of it, because he just, well, you see the finish, but he just left the defense for dead on the perimeter just by that little head fake and quick first step. Guys, he's as built.
I mean, Mark, you're talking about a player who week in, week out, every day in practice is going up against, elite European players.
With a capital E, definitely. in
So
that
there's
league.
no question the pedigree with him. But he's struggling a little bit here at the free throw line early on. Okeke gets inside. And Pajola gets in there, thought he'd pulled it away, but the jump ball has been called.
See, I think Okeke is a key player for. He's got that little bit of athleticism and mobility, but he's got to finish plays. His numbers aren't great in terms of finishing plays, but if he gets going and finish plays, I think Lithuania are going to struggle with athleticism.
Well, another foul down low called on Lithuania. And it's on the big center. Gadiliauskas, both hands on Mezzanotte, who is proving to be quite the handful. Mezzanotte doesn't give really too much away there in size. He's long. And Penna almost threw it over, gets it back, draws the front of the iron, the long rebound, out to Bucarelli, the captain. Pajola out to Penna, steps to his left, and again, he's going to be short. And looked like they were taken out of their rhythm a little bit that time, Italy. Sedekerskis. Tries to go to work on Pajola. Now Sedekerskis outside, that's going to be an air ball.
That's great Italian defense. They one-on-one, they contained it, didn't help too much, recovered even on the switch on the little two-man game. And then the help came. That's just great preparation from the bench.
And you know what we haven't seen, Mark, is we haven't seen Kubala,
which is a surprise.
Kubaka, rather,
Yeah.
for Lithuania, is yet to attempt one. Penna whips it. Okeke is on line, but it's short. Now, see if Kuboka launches one here. Oh, beautiful bounce pass, and probably should have been handled a little bit better by Masulis. But nevertheless, Lithuania will maintain possession. Bucarelli couldn't quite hold on to it. Again, you see the replay, and Bucarelli dives out of bounds, tries to get it back in.
Get on that replay though. Again, the rules against stuff are really well established. This Italian defense is going to give Lithuania problems.
Well, Kuboka was able to back down low, and this is perhaps an issue where that size factor. Sedekerskis drives. Kuboka, and he was short, just on the outside of the net. Pajola over to Bucarelli. Now Penna, Bucarelli. Penna gets in the lane, puts up a tough shot, and he hits it. What a play.
Well, you're going to get a replay of that, Jeff. And again, just great ball movement. It gets a little closeout situation, which gives him an advantage to attack it. But he's still going to have to finish around 4 guys. That's a tough finish. I mean, Penna's one of those great examples. Bologna basketball as such, coming back into Serie A next year for the first time. There's a number of players from that Bologna organization on this team. You know, they're obviously, they almost reflect the way that Italy's on that way back up at all levels.
Gadiliauskas has gone out of the game. And number 18 is checked in, Vasiliauskas, for him. And of course that foul was on Giedraitis. So Italy up 7-4 after the three-point play, and the three-point attempt rims out. Wide open look for Masulis. And you would think, Mark, that with that, it looks like a distinct size advantage for Lithuania, that they really would try to perhaps attack, but if they're going to give them the open looks, they're going to take them.
But again, whereas in previous games where they've been up, they're going to take another 3 here. But
Kuboka misses, and Okele with the rebound. Okeke with the rebound, and Penna bulls his way in, out to Okeke. So both teams misfiring from the perimeter. Sedikerskas again, and this time he drains the three-pointer. And that was a nice stroke on Sedikerskas.
They're never going to go away. That's the way they're going to penetrate, they're going to kick, they're going to try and create those opportunities and stretch you. They live and die a little bit by that perimeter shot, but when you make as many as they do, why not?
Buccarelli got in, had a good look. Now Lithuania with a chance. The cross court, Masiulis open. And Italy get it back. So Lithuania are going to put them up, aren't they? They're not waiting around.
And when they start to miss and Italy can control tempo as Penna is, this is very much at a tempo of the game that Italy would have liked to have got into.
Pajula, now Penna. 3 on the shot clock. He launches note. He gets it to Mezzanotte, but Mezzanotte thought the shot was going up.
And Mezzanotte's right because there was no time.
Now Sedikerskas. And another 3 off this time from Giedraitis. And the cross court. Italy moving the ball well. Penna misses. And this time Lithuania struggling after getting the rebound to control it.
Well, yeah, 2 things, Jet. You mentioned they're almost averaging 100 points a game, Lithuania coming in. 7 points each, still 6.5 minutes in. One of that will be it's a quarterfinal with more pressure. But you just got to credit the way Italy are playing their defensive. And when they get it, they're going to spend 20 seconds with a basketball unless it's wide open. That gives them a chance to shorten the game and literally plan to get the win. But it's based on their defense, doing a great job at this end.
Kubica goes to his left, drives in. Oh, great move, $1 million move, but a 5-cent finish. Pajula hands it to Penna. And the ball is going to turn over. Is that a
offensive foul on Okeke, I think.
So Pajula goes out of the game. Yep, the foul was on Okeke. Second foul for him as well, so that's something to watch for Italy.
And they don't really have a great rotation for him either, so losing him, they change the shape, they change what they get offensively in particular if he steps out of the game.
Masiulis finds Sedikerskas down low, and he was fouled by Penna before he could attempt the shot. And that's already the 6th team foul, so Lithuania going to the line.
Yeah, Lithuania with that flex type offense, a lot of screens away from the ball. Italy switching every screen, and every now and again, if you don't communicate, you're going to end up in a bad situation like they did there with a mismatch underneath. And you've got to pressure the ball. That was probably the first occasion they haven't had a lot of ball pressure, which made the pass easier, easy entry, and they end up on the free throw line again. Good thing for it, they are sharing the fouls out. I mean, I don't think they can afford to lose Penna because he really does run the show.
So we got plenty of new faces in the lineup for Italy as Grigas paces over there on the Lithuanian bench. Visconti, number 9, has come into the game. Auxilia, number 23, the leading scorer, has come in. Also coming in is Caruso, number 7. And number 22, Antele, and he's got the ball right now. Caruso spins, puts up a short little jump hook.
Nothing wrong with the option, just got to show a little bit more composure on the finish.
Jakubaitis back in the game, number 31. Masiulis has it up top. Jakubaitis, lefty, good! How about that from the 16-year-old?
Well, he is, if you're 16, as you said right at the beginning of the game, he's not short in confidence.
Jakubaitis is certainly, that's given them their biggest lead of the game, 5. But Italy try to strike back. Great defense from Masulis, but he is called for the foul.
It's one of those moments I don't always like with the officials. He almost let him if he was a scored. I don't know if he'd have called the call, but
Auxilia,
the call was correct. But
well, Auxilia saw a little bit of daylight and made his move. And you can see the athleticism of Masulis.
well, both Masulis and Jakubaitis, like products of the Sabonis Academy in Zalgiris, and it's just a production line of players, and it's tough to get on this team. So you're going to play competitively like he just did.
I think right at this stage, Italy will take any attempt they can get at the free throw line, and searching for that rhythm. Vasiliauskas. So both teams rotating, going deep to their bench here early. Kolbika, and Italy come away with it. Bucarelli, and he was fouled as he got into the lane. And that was Stankiewicz with the foul, and it was a good idea from Bucarelli to push it up that time.
Oh no! If their defense gives them situations like that, that's an easy look at the hoop. If they can fall, they can push the ball. They're playing really intelligent basketball. Lithuania, player for player, much more talented, much more opportunities to score points, and Italy's defense is just like restricting at the moment.
Looked like Kulbaka almost had a steal there on that replay. Bucarelli drives in, powers his way up, and draws the foul. Can you say and one for the second time in the game for Italy? And it was Vasiliauskas that was, he got him. The law of verticality was okay, but then he got him on the wrist.
Yeah.
And now it's, what would you say, a captain's minutes here for Bucarelli?
Absolutely. I was just about to say, when it comes down to it, they've struggled to tick it over. The last 2 possessions, he's been aggressive. That's going to really spark, and now they're up the floor, and they're always asking questions here.
And they're denying Jakubaitis the ball. Now Vasiliauskas, and now Jakubaitis has it. He gives it to Kulbaka. Stankiewicz drives in, takes the contact, and they're going to count it. Well, what an aggressive play from Stankiewicz. Doesn't really, he's almost atypical for this Lithuania team, his build, isn't he? But he's obviously got a strong body. He takes the contact and it doesn't mess him up.
Well, on that play in particular, he took the contact and then just steadied himself and got that finish away. Again, movement in the basketball creates opportunities, and then both these teams are reading it really well once they move the defense.
So we're in the final minute of what is really proving to be an exciting first quarter final, in fact. And now an offensive foul posting up.
Well, we were both at the women's Eurobasket recently, and the way referees are trying to tighten up, especially like the screen away from the ball or on they really are trying to make it a clean game in that aspect of it. You'd have thought by this stage of the tournament, players would have realized that and would have actually adapted to the fact you can't move. You've got to actually be stationary, and your offensive teammate has got to run them into the screen.
And that foul was indeed on Caruso. Now Masulis. And he gets inside, got in good position. Lithuania crashing the boards. And Italy called for the foul. And is it on Caruso again? Well, the official stats say that he was guilty of the other foul. So if that foul is on him as well, that's number 2. Yes, it is. It's his second foul. So Vasiliauskas now is at the line, and he was well short.
They look very, even apart from Silikauskis, this Lithuanian team look a little tight on the release, and it's a quarterfinal of a World Championship, of a World Cup, so you can understand it, but Vladimir Vasilikauskas, who's got that experience of playing in Spain, etc., they really would be struggling to tick the scoreboard over.
Final seconds of the first quarter, and Caruso gets inside. And boy, Italy have to be careful they don't foul Vasilikauskas attempting that long-range heave. It's Lithuania on top 15-12 after one.
Well, statistically, no one's going to be writing home about a 33 and 28% from the 2-point range, but you almost expect that. Big-time games put that little bit of extra pressure on you. Jeff, I love the way that Italy have come out and said, well, we've seen you in the tournament, we've seen you shoot the ball really well, we're going to switch on our defense, we're going to try and make sure we contest every shot, and when we've got it, we're going to try and make this game a little shorter. And they've been very successful. Now, whether Lithuania continue to miss is going to be down to how much Italy can follow that execution, get a hand up on the shot every time. And they've done a pretty decent job keeping them off the glass. Now they've had to foul to do that a lot, but the tempo of the game is giving Italy a chance here. They've really come up with a game plan that gives them a chance to beat, on paper, a much more higher scoring, talented team.
Well, I think your point about Lithuania being a bit tight is valid. And what's interesting is also you alluded to the fouls. Pana already has 2 fouls, the starting point guard, and Okeke has 2. Caruso picked up a couple of quick fouls for Italy. So Capobianco is going to have to manage that situation well. And Buccarelli as well, the captain, you can see him out there really talking to his teammates about how they're going to have to execute the game plan, especially defensively.
Well, and Telly's going to be crucial here because Pena really is their leader as such. And the guy from Venice is really going to have to put in a performance here where he doesn't hurt it. He's going to look after it, he's going to distribute it, and he's more important than anything else, he's going to have to play so hard at this end of the floor.
And Vasilikauskas misses from long range.
That's a great decision. And Telly saw the opportunity, but if no, I haven't got it, I'm going to pull it back out.
And nice pass inside to Mezzanotte.
Just to underline the decision by Antelli, he could have taken it, maybe would have scored. Wasn't a high percentage, got it out. They moved the ball, get a great look inside.
And three-pointer rims out again from Sedekarskas.
Hand in the face though, great recovery, great closeout.
Buccarelli again crashing the boards, and Mezzanotte gets it. He's going to hand it off. What a play by Italy, but the finish wasn't there. And that was Visconti who had an easy one. And now Lithuania denied again.
Well, that was a tough shot by Sedekarskas in transition. They spent like 3 or 4 seconds with the ball. Italy get it back. They're going to spend 20 with it.
Mezzanotte, boy, he's been effective. And he gets a foul called, is it Kulbuka or Sedekarskas? Looked like it was Kulbuka the way he was looking, but.
Sedekarskas, yeah. Straight through him.
Drive, and the basket is good.
Well, until he started the second period, has really put down a marker here. Defensively, he's been very good. Great decisions and a great finish.
Vasilikauskas now. Over to Masulis. Kulbuka has it. He's going to go to his left. And he's going to make the pass, and Lithuania are going to get it off just in time instead of Kerskis. Nope, they're going to say...
I'm going to keep repeating that the Italian defense is just out the top drawer here. Their rotations are very, very well drilled. They've always got a hand up on the shooter.
Visconti puts it up.
Well, there's always going to be momentum swings.
Denegri. That was Denegri, not Visconti.
Always going to be those momentum swings at the moment. The start of this quarter, it's all about Italian basketball.
And now the turnover, and look at Antele driving in, hands it back, and then fouled was Auxilia going up. And what a response by the Italians.
Wow.
Vasiliauskas called for his second foul.
You just summed it up. What a response. I mean, like, we talked about were they going to deal with Penna being out of the game. Antele's just answered that on his own. Both ends of the floor, he's coming up with great decisions offensively, defensively. He's really putting in a shift. And great decisions again at the break. He could have taken the tough shot, lays it off, they go to the free throw line. They couldn't have had a more positive start.
Quando ci sono stai più in mezzo all'aria per andare a stoppare certe volte. Cioè se la palla è in angolo, il tuo sta qua, stai qua.
Very, very complete
Chiaro?
forwards. The no one for a team shooting 40% coming into the down that low.
Fate anche molte finte e tornare, finte d'aiuto e tornare, che ve la danno. Fino aiuto e tornare. Continua a pressare la palla. D'accordo?
Пародинки кричал по
That's even bigger stat, Jeff.
Давайте, гранал, вернука, и кричал, что кричал.
This Italian team, that's about great half-court execution. Lithuania with all that
Спервачи, выкидай, посетил 10 на привес, ты загибай. Давай, давай.
Really inside of the position they should be able to.
Well, you know, we expected this to be a good game, and boy, it has really turned out to be one. Italy, we talked about them being battle-tested, having gone up and faced the USA, having had to really dig deep to beat Japan in the round of 16, and, you know, having been through those conditions, they look like they are battle-hardened.
Well, they definitely look like that because, again, they're at the defensive end in particular, they've had to win games based upon how much they can stop people scoring. So they've had to make their defense work. They've had to work their rotations and get everything they want to do around screens nailed down, especially against a team like Japan who stretch the floor. Maybe not the same level as Lithuania, but again, looking to shoot the ball.
Well, the lead is 5 for Italy, and a little bit of pressure defense out on the perimeter now. Jokubaitis out of his comfort zone a little bit. And now the switch, Auxilia on Jokubaitis. Kubica gets in the lane, and a quick hand from Italy, and once again, a shot clock violation, and Capobianco over there on the bench, the Italian coach, says, that's right.
Yeah, their rotations there were unbelievable. You can't rotate better than he just did, and you put some effort to it. That's the defense is actually giving them a chance here. They need 5.
Denegri hit that big three-pointer. Dribbles between the legs, puts up another 3, and a little bit short. Mezzanotte this time was challenged by Sedekerskis, and the outlet pass to Jokubaitis. And he is bumped up top by Bucarelli.
If we get a replay of that move on the inside, you can't try to avoid that sort of physical contest. You've got to take it straight through the defense and finish the play.
Is that Mezzanotte?
Yeah, he really just went up a little. He went up young. He went up looking young. But again, you just got to love, you know, the execution.
Well, Jokubaitis goes up and fouled at the free throw line. Antele picks up his first.
And they really didn't need. They didn't need to give Lithuania a chance to tick it over. That's 4 minutes pretty much without scoring at the start of this second period, based on their defense. And they foul a jump shooter. If he makes it, great. Don't let him almost settle everybody down by going to the line and making both. But it's that fine line. You know, you've got to keep that defensive intensity up. They're going to foul. As long as they share them out, they'll be fine.
Jokubaitis, and he misses his second, and also Lithuania got into the lane too early. I always find that a tough one. I mean, it seems like sometimes the referees allow it, that early entry to be okay.
I always think it's one of those things that occasionally they just notice it, and just to keep everybody honest, or try to keep everybody honest.
Stankiewicz just now into the game, guarding Denegri. Bucarelli. And Mazzanotte. Look at him with the ball. Auxilia had a decent look, and good hustle from Italy to get it back. Mazzanotte, and oh, he got a little bit of love from the rim and the backboard. The three-pointer, their biggest lead of the game.
Absolutely, it's like 7 offensive rebounds as well. They're out working Lithuania more than anything else.
Inside he goes, and the easy one missed from Lithuania's number 13, Gadiliauskas, and then he got the offensive rebound and missed it again. And boy, if Lithuania didn't know they were in a battle, they sure know now. They are really struggling against a very determined Italian team. And now the foul on the made jumper, Antelli once again. Not Bucarelli, but Antelli gets to the line for another three-point play opportunity. Look at Antelli fall down, kept his eye on it, and Gadiliauskas now has 3 fouls. Gadiliauskas heads to the bench. Masulis comes back in, and boy, you're talking about a Lithuania team that averaging around the century mark, and they've got 16 points in the first 15 minutes.
Oh, and Antilli at the moment is perfect. You know, from the field, he hasn't missed. Assists, no turnovers.
Auxilia guarding Jokubaitis, and the lefty, a little bit of a fadeaway, offensive rebound, and Sedekerskis does what he probably does as well as anybody on the court. He goes up strong, and he draws the foul. Mazzanotte picks up his second. So again, a lot of fouls being committed. Look at Sedekerskis. I mean, boy, where would they be without him? I mean, he's like, he's really been a warrior on the glass.
He's literally the only one ticking the scoreboard over from the field. 9 points, and 9 points out of the 16.
But he has had his struggles at the line as well.
Well, he's only shot 60% across the tournament so far. At the moment, it looks like everyone's trying to make things happen for Lithuania. They're not letting the game come to them. They're not getting stuff out of what they're running, so they're having to make plays. Whereas Italy are getting things out of what they're running and getting options they want.
Well, he's now 4 of 8 from the free throw line. Giedraitis, number 9, back in the game for Lithuania. Now Auxilia gets in. Oh, takes a very difficult shot.
He has to kick that. There's no way. That's not what they've been trying to do.
Sedekerskis trying to find some space, and Telly all over him. Now Masulis in against Mazzanotte, and perhaps Mazzanotte doesn't want to pick up that 3rd foul.
Well, it looks like they're going to rotate him out after this play because, and this is what we said earlier on, there's no reason that Lithuania can't go there as often as they want and just take the time and get the shot they want.
Well, the quick pass, what a play from Bucarelli. That little extra effort just reached up and got a hand on the ball, and it calls the turnover. And Auxilia misses a layup, stays with it. He's just having one of those games where he can't put the ball in the basket right now. And that was Masulis, who was fouled just as he got to the line. And Telly was being a pest, but now he's picked up, I think, his 3rd foul. And that's he stepped in front of him.
No, clearly a foul on the break. And for the first time, it's really tough, especially for young players in this type of situation where Italy have a way of playing. They've decided they're going to play a tempo. You compare the last play to Antilli's play where he had the chance to go earlier on, dragged it out. in that the situation we just saw where Auxilia was going back up in traffic. Kick it out and start again. Kick it out and start again. Unless you've got a real high percentage look. And there's no with a 9 points.
D'accordo? Quindi,
Еймище прими.
It's very hard to maintain
Arnas,
that discipline.
пушкивай.
Seasoned pros get carried away. They're
Žiūrėkit,
in a
gal
really
su
good
nugarinė,
place
pažiūrėkit
to
kaip
run
čia.
points up.
Greičiausiai gali nugarinė, Arnai, tu išėjai šitą, prasiverš toliau, daugiau iš šono, duok palik Gyčiui, kad Gytis nurolinti.
Gali keistis Kebra, tai iš karto
Jo, pasižiūrėkit, iškart permetimas ir atiduok. Jeigu jie čia keičiasi, iškart išbėk į kraštą. Įrodyk iškart po krepšiu. Davai, drąsiai, berniukai, nepanikuokit.
Mezzanotte has two.
quindi, blocco, vado dentro, cambio, no, contenimento, torno, passaggio, passaggio.
Just spread them out across your roster. Everybody's got the two. No one's in that 3. It's like foul situation. You've decided you're going to play your defense that way. As long as you spread them out, you're okay. And especially if Lithuania carry on the free throw line like they have been doing so far, which has been poor.
I tell you, Mezzanotte was perhaps fortunate that he didn't pick up a foul that one time down when I thought he was being a bit timid. Actually, he did kind of come down, made some contact. But anyway, he's out of the game perhaps for the rest of the half, the last 3.5 minutes. And back in is Caruso, number 7. Caruso, one of those Italians with a couple of fouls. And Masulis at the free throw line makes 1 of 2. So Lithuania's struggles at the line continue. I mean, they are really struggling. 7 of 14 overall. Auxilia finds his way in the lane and he draws the foul on Slavinskas, the captain. Slavinskas.
A much better move as he gets to the far side of the ring. There's a drive lane and no one steps in to help, so there's space beyond the defense, and therefore they called him for the foul on the penetration. Maybe a little unlucky they didn't give him the continuation.
Both teams will be in the bonus, and boy, Italy struggled to get it inbounds. Buccarelli front and back of the rim, and back over to Lithuania. Foul called on Italy trying to rebound. So, as we said, in the bonus, so Kubica will go to the line, and that was Caruso picking up his 3rd foul.
Yeah, that's the first Italian to get into the uncomfortable zone of 3 fouls, and Caruso's only just come back into the game.
Kubica just hasn't been able to get into the flow at all today.
It's contagious from the
He's
free
got
throw
no
line.
points.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, he's averaging 17, nearly 18 points a game. And he's still 0 points.
But Slavinskas picks up the rebound. And again, long-range shot, well off target. I mean, Kubica's the type of player that can put up 10 points in a hurry.
I mean, he's only shot 40% from the line. That's not where he's got his points so far, but I always think it's contagious.
Auxilia has it taken away, but he gets it back.
Oh, great
Giedraitis and Antelli. And Denegri, good, right at the buzzer. Goodness gracious me, Denegri has hit a couple of big 3-pointers.
Again, Antelli's decision to penetrate and find the open man again. 10-point game in a low-scoring matchup. Italy in a very good place.
Giedraitis, and now passes out of bounds. You almost felt a little bit of a momentum shift when Lithuania got it back to a 6-point deficit, but Kubica missed the 2 free throws, and since that time, it's been all Italy. Here's Giedraitis thinking they was going to have somebody out there on the perimeter.
It's again, it's all about the defense. Again, they force it to go to the baseline side, then everybody can play the passing lanes where they've been asked to play them. It's just it's all very well trying to talk about how you're going to play your defense, then you've got to put it on the floor, and these guys have done a great job.
Now Keke's back in the game, and look at Buccarelli once again getting inside. I think his coach will live with that shot. He just missed the shot, but he had a good look. Jokubaitis just throws it right into the hands of Bucarelli, who's going to go again, attack the basket, and he is going to get a trip to the line for a three-point play opportunity. And Kubica called for the foul with a little bit of body. And he can hardly believe it. Look, he hustles back. And he kind of stopped, impeded his progress.
Look, you know, and you got to give the credit, you know, to the move in terms of from Bucarelli.
Bucarelli,
I'll get it out there. Bucarelli, because like he looked, he drew the contact. Now, you know, was there a foul? He initiated all the contacts, but misses the throw. But
and you saw Keke there trying to get the rebound, flirting perhaps, coming over the back. Jokubaitis, Sedikerskas, Kubica, and the shooting guard that we're really excited to see has just not gotten it going yet. And Simeone has come into the game for Italy, number 5, and he got his first rebound. Bucarelli. I'll tell you what, Lithuania as well are perhaps riding their luck a little bit that Italy are missing some jumpers. Sedikerskas pushes it quickly, and Slavinskas, the captain. Great play by Sedikerskas.
That's the first time they've scored points, good points in transition. You know, no one stopped him, so he got in the lane and nice little bounce pass. I was expecting him to run a lot more and be more aggressive.
Denegri right at the line. Now Sedikerskas again dribbles with his head up. Kubica gets in the lane, takes the contact, and you know, with his struggles at the line, he's hoping to get a three-point play. Simeone picks up the foul, stepping in front of him.
It's you're going to see it here. Same thing though. He was much more aggressive, much more direct with the penetration. And it's not going from the perimeter. They've got to take it strong to the bucket. They've got to try and get it inside, whether it be by pass or dribble penetration. Because both those penetrations were penetrations to score. He ended up making one pass and one shot. It wasn't just penetration to kick, which is what they've been doing so far.
Now that did not look like a player who has a bad free throw stroke.
No.
Made both of them. Bucarelli comes out.
Up the floor with pressure.
Telly back in. Auxilia as well. Denegri has it. So Lithuania, if they can get a stop, they'll get it back. They can rebound. Auxilia, 7 on the shot clock. He's going to put it up, and it's not going to make it. And Kubica just mistimed his jump. And the ball goes out of bounds off Lithuania, and that's just kind of the way it's gone for them in this first half. So timeout. Both teams head over to the bench.
Well, you said, Jeff, as they go to the bench, they'll get it back if they rebound. And yet again, Italy come up with another offensive rebound. They get outworked again, and then they make great decisions. I mean,
they've outscored Lithuania to 8.
Migli fai rimessa. Ok, cambia.
Seconds remained in that first quarter.
Gira sul primo.
Dove gospodari? Vi ste krpštao kamoli, on prejmu. Ne veđem, si prvom brankom i krpštao iš. A pa čo? Dešim se kuću.
Italy want them to go into.
Nato must go to the
See that bench score?
Gali budu.
That surprises me. I mean, it's much. Well, Italy came off the bench.
You mentioned the 2 big threes, and Chile's had points.
Jo, gali būti klerinimas dažnai. Reiškia, duoda tą nugarinę ir eina čia flierą. Keičiamės čia visi. Čia kaip suošų. Čia nugarinė. Čia vėl keičiamės.
What the went to the basket strong until that. That's the great thing, and you know Grigas is going to be talking about this in the locker room. When we're aggressive and we try and attack the ring down the middle, we're getting good things. They just haven't done it enough. Last big 10 seconds. If they get the points here, really, all that momentum's re-established.
Well, Final 10 seconds here. Will Lithuania get it back? Will they hold firm? Auxilia goes between his legs, and they sure enough get it back. Jokubaitis, he's going to launch it. And does he get the foul? Yes, he does. Terrific play. And Capobianco is yelling at Auxilia. Obviously didn't run the play. And Jokubaitis, that's pretty interesting maturity there by him. And he already knows. Look, he comes up with a steal, great athletic play, and he knows he's got just enough time. And he is fouled, so no time on the clock.
You know, you talk about stuff, about maturity. That's one of those players with his pedigree and his potential. That's an instinctive thing. He knows he's got enough. He realizes he doesn't have to think. But a couple of the Yankees' reaction to the mishandle. He's got guys wide open. Move the ball. That's what they've done so well. They could have been up 10. They're up 6.
31-25. Italy on top of Lithuania at halftime. Well, Mark, as we look at the stats, it's a horrendous free throw shooting for Lithuania, 11 of 21. If that's not the case, you know, we got a tie game or they're in the lead. But from a rebounding standpoint, Italy, they're giving themselves a chance to win.
Well, a team that's trying to retain possession of the ball and slow down, giving them 11 offensive rebounds means you spend a lot of time on defense, because they're going to make you spend another 14 seconds. They're going to keep you in areas of the floor, like at the end of the floor they want you at. Italy couldn't have played the game better from a preparation perspective. There's been a couple of moments down the end where I think you've got the better of them, they got carried away, which has given Lithuania the chance to come back. Lithuania right in it though, 6-point game for a team that can shoot as well as they can. I can't believe they're going to shoot as poorly as that in the second half. It's going to be a tough one. This could go all the way down to the wire.
And you know that Kulbaka's not going to stay quiet for the entire game. How important was that last sequence there? As you said, I mean, you're potentially going into the locker room up 10, and just like that, you make, obviously, you get into a rush or whatever, the steal, and it's a 4-point swing, isn't it?
Well, and going into the locker room, if Italy had run a play and got a good shot, they'd have still been happy. They'd have been bouncing going into the locker room. We got an offensive rebound, we ran our play, we got an open look, we just didn't make it. We're doing really well. Then all of a sudden, it's like, as you say, the turnover, and they commit another foul. And then, Lithuania are in that locker room saying, hey, we can't play any worse than that, we're only down 6. It's like, hey, we're down 10 is a different debate, even though it's only the 4 points. But even then, the last play, they got what they want. No, they didn't. They didn't get what they wanted. Lithuania came up with a steal.
Are you going to expect Italy to maintain this intensity for 40 minutes?
One of the great things about under-19 basketball is, kids are going to play hard. They're not going to. They might start breaking down mentally. They might start. Well, they fouled enough in the first half, but I think it's. They're up 6. This is not going to be a hard ask of a locker room to say, hey, our defense is the reason we're up 6. They missed a few little bunnies as well. They could have been up double digits. This is I still think that I would still favor Lithuania, because at some point they're going to make some shots. However, that Italian defense is the key. If this game is it's a 31-25 game. If this game's in the 60s, Italy have a chance. If they have a great second half, it gets into the 70s, Lithuania are winning. I can't see Italy scoring enough points.
Well, they do. Antelli also has 3 fouls, so it's Caruso and Antelli each with 3 fouls for the Italians, and Gadiliauskas, who hasn't really done anything offensively, he's got 3 fouls. So it really is a case of, how bad did Lithuania want it at this stage, because it didn't look. It almost looked as if they weren't expecting to come out, as they say, and be hit in the mouth, so to speak. Italy came out and just delivered a few punches, and it's going to be interesting to see how Lithuania come out for the third quarter.
Because if you go back right to what we talked about at the beginning, they've rocked up for the games, 1 by 20, 1 by 30, 1 by 40. They rocked up for this game, missed a couple of shots, went inside, got blocked a little bit, and it's very difficult then to change. And if it hadn't been for Sidakaskis on his own almost for the first part of the game, they could have been in a real hole. And but Lithuanian basketball is not going to panic, and they're going to stay with what they do. I still think the whole game it's Italy execute defensively as well as they did, and can they be controlled?
Now I got a question for you, and this is an interesting one for me. We're looking at Capobianco. He's coached the Eurobasket women. We know he's coached the youth teams over the years. He's coaching this under-19 team. Might Capobianco be a candidate to coach Italy when the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying campaign gets underway come November? Because we know that Ettore Messina is going to coach them at the Eurobasket coming up, but that'll be it for him. And I just wonder, is he going to be burned out? Is this something that he would like to do?
Well, I think there's a reason he's getting all these jobs. You know, there's a reason that the federation is saying, we want you to coach this team, that team, this team. He's done a great job taking their women's team through a real transitional period where they were trying to play young players, and he's built those young players up so they're now established at that level.
And it has to be said, very, very, very unlucky and unfortunate that they are not going to be at the World Cup, having lost in probably the most controversial circumstances you can imagine in their classification game against Latvia. But
and I think when he finishes here, he's going to go and take the under-18 team in the Eurobasket under-18.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have enough fuel in the tank.
He'll
still have a break.
Yeah, and I think so if the reason that they're giving him these roles is they're looking for a national team coach, their choices are fairly clear, aren't they? Do they go with him, someone like him, or do they look at their club system where there's a number of really good coaches and the Italian first division is getting back up there again? And do they get a guy that combines the national team with a club job? It's an interesting, because the competition window gives you a little bit, it makes it hard to do that.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go with the federation guy, you've got to keep him busy. So this might be the way that they're going to do it. I think he'd be a great candidate to do it.
Yeah.
The only question you ever get into that scenario is, well, you've done a great job with age group players, you've done the women's team. Can you deal with all those big time pros coming back? We didn't ask for it. We asked to hear at the noise, but not each other. And they'll sort it out for the next game.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
When she says us, she doesn't mean us. She means whatever.
I mean, to be fair, I'm hearing you okay, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just weird because you kind of, when you have the headphones, you kind of go into that. You're in the thing.
This literally is. It's a script for them. They've had all these easy games and they rock up against a team that's playing them harder. And they're struggling to adjust.
I think there's a lot to be said for actually coming out and having tough games. I'm amazed. Capobianco's a good coach. He's got his guys ready. And you can also see when he's walking off the court, he's got that worried look. He knows a very difficult 20 minutes are right in front of him. And I just wonder looking at him if he thinks that maybe Italy let him off the hook a little bit because they could have been up by double digits.
But they really are going to have to play a perfect game in terms of. And so like those mental breakdowns where they take a bad one, they don't need to.
Yeah.
You know, that's. You'd have thought that they would be able to cut our commentary out of going out until we come back, sort of thing. Isn't that surely just flick a switch? You always worry when they're setting up as you arrive, though? he really has managed. He's had, the fact he's had all these close games, his minutes are, therefore he's got, I suppose he thinks he's got no stars or whatever else, but he's managed minutes across all those games.
He did the same thing with the women. I mean,
do you think that they benefit, in some ways they almost benefit from the injury? As in, like, the veteran goes down, they don't play with her, and then all of a sudden all these kids that have grown up together and have come through stuff have to then step up? Or do you think she'd have made the difference in terms of qualification?
Yeah, I think so. I think they missed that one.
A little bit of poise in those moments.
Yeah. Or I just think they missed another good player.
Yeah.
On the other hand, maybe, well, Zandolcini came out and really,
she looks really special.
Played exceptional from the very first second that she stepped onto the court. Well, Jokubaitis was, he looks the part, doesn't he? Their big guns aren't firing right now. If Kubica and Masulis aren't going to bring it, you need to have those other guys out there.
Jokubaitis does look the part.
Man.
Like 1 assist, he's only taken 4 shots, he's been out there 14 minutes. I mean, they've hounded it. Everywhere he goes, they've literally hounded it. And it doesn't matter how talented you are, you're 16, and he doesn't look like a robust 16. You know, he's in terms like heavy set 16, and they're working him over.
Yeah. I do think he has a big future though.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, he'll almost certainly end up next year on their EuroLeague roster. At 16, 17. They'll play him in their second team as well. But
Jagger.
yeah. But he's not a 16-year-old Rubio, though, is he? No, he's not.
No. But there's a lot of good players in Lithuania, that's for sure.
Jesus.
Well, welcome back to Cairo. We're at halftime. Teams warming up for the start of the third quarter. Lithuania, a little bit taken out of their game, to put it mildly, by Italy. But Italy, having gone up by double digits, ended up taking just a 6-point lead at halftime. And Andrea Capobianco, the Italy coach, getting a little bit of fuel there, perhaps, before the second half. And I mean, what do you see, Mark, in terms of the approach here for both of these teams at the start of the third?
Well, Italy are going to hope and they're going to plan that no change, because they were never going to win this game by a huge margin. They were going to try and keep it, shorten it, trying to spend more time on the ball.
Not allow Lithuania to run?
Yeah, and I think if they get into that scenario where you get in towards the end of the third quarter and it's still the same type of game, whether or not it's tied up, whether or not Lithuania might lead by 1 or 2, as long as it's the same type of game, Italy are just going to have to, I would assume, are going to try and just tough out a game. You would hope. Lithuania at the moment don't seem to have a way to increase the tempo, apart from trying to get out on the break after a steal, but they haven't extended their defense.
So we will.
So if they don't get out and press to try and make the game stretched and try and create off of their defense, they're going to say, well, okay, if that's the way we're going to have to win it, they're going to have to, because I can't see them really picking the tempo up unless they press, and they haven't really had to. I tell you, while we're waiting, the great thing about bringing the World Championship to somewhere like this is that this is a great exposure for the game in this part of the world, isn't it? You know, you've got like the best young players in the world coming to Egypt. This is the venue here is tremendous, and you just hope that over this weekend, it's a shame the hosts aren't in the quarterfinals, obviously, but you hope people come and use the opportunity to see the best for young kids.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we all know, you know, some of these kids are just one step away from superstardom. You know, a lot of them that we watched at the last Under-19 World Cup already with NBA teams having been lottery picks. The Josh Jacksons, the Jason Tatums. Well, Mezzanotte. They get it over to Bucarelli, the captain. Okeke now gets in, puts up a nice left-hander, and the follow from Mezzanotte. And then Okeke, well, a lot of contact. Sedikerskas saw a no-look pass from Slavinskas, and Okeke does pick up his third foul.
Well, apart from the fact they gave up the offensive board at the other end, that's the sort of game Lithuania are going to want to run for the whole of this second half. Italy have to finish those little plays. Okeke really under control, should have finished. You know, he gets back in it. He's a little unfortunate because the block was clean, just caught him downstairs. But that's a great start for Lithuania in terms of that's the tempo they want to play out with the basketball. Let's get it and run and look to score.
Well, Capobianco, the Italy coach, is pacing behind the bench. Meanwhile, Rimantas Grigas, the Lithuanian coach, has sat down looking a little bit better, more comfortable, but good hustle there from Pajola. Nevertheless, the ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be Lithuania ball.
Well, Italy have to be perfect in this execution game-wise. They've given up an offensive board. They've not taken advantage of another missed free throw. It's got to be perfect for the Italians.
Pena back in the game, number 4. Jokubaitis. Sedikerskas goes baseline, gets it to Masulis, and they barely got that off in time. But great play from Lithuania.
But Jeff, in the first half, they didn't get it off. Even that little second of stuff, they get a couple of 24-second violations, half the lead in no time.
Bucarelli drives and follows up the shot. Ball goes out of bounds off Masulis, so that'll be Italy ball, but just 1 second on the shot clock. And now Okeke comes out, and Auxilia comes in, and boy, Okeke getting a real talking to from his coach, Capobianco. You can see him over the top of your screen. And now another chance to run is Jokubaitis, and he drives in, and he lays it up, and Lithuania now trail by just 1 point.
Well, they've hardly spent any time in the offensive end, Lithuania, because there's been fast break at the start of the third.
Now that was better. Mezzanotte front and back of the rim, and Lithuania having been in such trouble now with a chance to take the lead. Kubica. Jokubaitis inside to Masulis, and he was fouled. He was surrounded. Italy with the reach, and it's almost as if you've got a little bit of that momentum carrying over from the end of the first half from Jokubaitis here into the second for Lithuania.
Well, you asked at the half, how would they approach it, etc. Italy, this is different. They went one penetration, early 3, and then fouled on poor defense.
Well, Kubica unsuccessful, but Lithuania crashing the boards, and they draw the foul.
And that's the third team foul for Italy after less than 2 minutes.
And Pajola, meanwhile. Although, as we saw in the first half, Lithuania really struggled at the line, and they've already missed one here in the second. Jokubaitis out to Masulis, and gosh, misses everything, but good hustle from Slavinskas. Nevertheless, Sedikerskas was short. But you see a little bit more sense of purpose coming from Lithuania attacking the glass. And they've started with their captain, Slavinskas, and he's kind of setting the tone.
And they're up the floor as well, pushing, trying to generate some tempo in the game with their defense, which is what they had to do. And Italy have just got to get back into that half court, slow it down.
Well, they work it around. Pena drives in, oh, and he puts it up and in.
Much better.
He finishes well, doesn't he, number 4? We saw that three-point play from him in the first half, and now he's started with an impressive drive here in the second. So Italy go back up by 3. Into the corner. Jokubaitis drives in over to Sedekerskis, and again Masulis with the offensive rebound, and this time Mezzanotte comes down with it, but he's trapped. Italy with a chance to run. Pena pulls it back out. Mezzanotte. Auxilia on the baseline. Good! The intensity has to be there for the Italians. Lithuania coming out really trying to get on top of him here. Masulis just cannot get it to go. And you almost wonder with Masulis as well, is that what you want when you're having some success driving to the basket? Pajola into Mezzanotte. Auxilia, good! With a three-pointer, he's come out and made amends for his gaffe at the end of the first.
Well, the last 2 possessions for Italy have been exactly what they did in the first half. Spend time with it, trying to attack it, get a shot you want.
And Jokubaitis off target. And strangely, it's almost as if Italy have weathered the storm, and now they've kind of gotten right back to where they want to be. Pena drives to his right, takes the contact. Good no call by the ref. Good D from Jokubaitis. And Sedekerskis rather drives in. Good hustle from Masulis. And he was fouled.
You know, Jeff, it's going to be, it's not going to be like a comfortable scenario on that Lithuanian bench, because you've almost got to try and win this by playing a little bit of hare and scare 'em type stuff. You've got to get it out and run and try and play this game over the full court and try and just outwork your opponent, which is what they've done. If they've missed, they've got offensive rebounds.
Meanwhile, the bespectacled Grigas knows that Italy have picked up 4 team fouls. So the rest of the way on their fouls, they'll be going to the free throw line. And they have had their struggles at the line. And you wonder with Lithuania if it's a good thing or a bad thing. They're 12 of 23 at the free throw line. And Masulis, his struggles continue. He's now 2 of 5 at the stripe.
It's really easy to sit here and say, you know, you should get there and forget what's happened and just go through your normal free throw routine. But you step to the line knowing your group has shot poorly. And you almost start saying, oh, I don't want to miss, I don't want to miss. And then that's just a negative thought. And that's why it's contagious.
But the only good thing about these missed free throws, at least in this quarter, is that Lithuania are challenging on the boards.
Absolutely.
And especially Slavinskas. I mean, we talked about Bucarelli. For Italy, Slavinskas is coming out and making some real, you know, gritty plays for Lithuania, doing some of the dirty work. Kubica now gets in and passes, and Bucarelli fouls the big center for Lithuania. Kadiliauskas is, now he goes to the free throw line for his first 2 attempts. And you just wonder, how long can they keep missing Lithuania? They just need to see the ball go through the hoop, and they can't.
They did. One of their guys, whoever's fouled, needs to step up, go 2 for 2, and all of a sudden think, oh yeah, we're okay. Because the mental side of shooting free throws has been talked about for years. You know, it's...
Okay, full court pressure here from Lithuania. Pena gets it over to Auxilia, who gets it over in plenty of time. Pena spins, puts it up, misses. Mezzanotte challenges. Pena comes in and fouls Jokubaitis, trying to keep it alive.
That's 3 fouls on Pena after a missed layup, and you see it so often, don't you? The frustration of missing the easy shot, you go and foul. And for the second time in the game, they've had a chance to get to double digits, look like they're in control again, and then miss some easy looks.
So Denegri is going to check back into the game for Pena.
Jokubaitis is probably the only guy shooting anywhere near a normal sort of percentage from the free throw line. He's 3 from 4 from the line.
So that's 4 fouls mark on Pena, so he has to go out. Yeah, so Jokubaitis, if you're going to have somebody at the line, if you're Lithuania, he's the man. But even he struggles now. I mean, it is an absolute horror show for Lithuania. They are shooting sub 50%. Goodness me. He missed both. I think we jinxed him.
I think that they step into the line trying not to miss, and that's not the way to approach it. That's what it looks like from here.
And the drive, and it's up and it's good from Bucarelli. And it's back to a 9-point lead. And you talk about swings. 2 missed free throws, a basket for Italy, and it's a 4-point swing.
Well, Bucarelli's move, just a great, nothing more than a great quick first step. Tremendous effort.
So to Kerskis and Caruso, or no, it's number 9, Visconti, who skies high and gets it.
Jeff, whoever's come off this Italian bench in the guard spots, Denegri's got it at the moment, and Telly did it. They're really getting a whole collective of a performance from the 3 guards.
Shot clock winding down. Visconti for 3 off the back of the iron. And a push called on Slavinskas.
22 seconds with the ball again, and that's just got to be. That's got to be the way they're going to win this. They can't be, unless it's a wide open look, spend time with it, and you're challenging Lithuania just to do the right thing fundamentally.
That must have been the slightest of nudges he got called for on that. Auxilia, jumper, and good play by Mezzanotte to bat it out. He was boxed out. And a new 14 for Italy. Bucarelli puts his head down. And Auxilia takes the contact as he goes up, and it's going to be on Slavinskas.
I mean, they literally spent over 40 seconds with the basketball there with the offensive rebounds, 2 seconds on the 24, 1 second on the 14, plus the previous shot. And Kevin Bianchi's going to be on the sideline now. He never looks happy as a coach, but inside, he's like, this is going to be a nasty way to win, but we're going to do it. And Auxilia in this 3rd quarter is trying to make amends for some of those mistakes in the first period. He hasn't made a bad decision yet. He's been really, really solid. Now he makes the free throw.
Well, full credit to Capobianco as well for sticking with him. I know he chewed him out. And both of them are good. It's the biggest lead of the game now for Italy. They're up 11 points. And now some full court pressure as well. Stankevicius is into the game. Excuse me, Italy's biggest lead was 12 points.
Yeah.
31-19. Giedraitis in the game for Lithuania. And Stankevicius puts it up and misses everything. You almost feel with Lithuania, if they're going to change this, they're going to have to get something from their defense.
Yep.
The way it's going right now, they're going to have to disrupt Italy and pick up that rhythm as Kubica picks up his 2nd foul. And if you told me before the game that Kubica would have 2 points at this stage of the contest, I would have said you're crazy before the game. No way.
But while those guys are out there, there's always they can get going in a hurry, and that's the trouble. Is you're now down to a 13 to go in the game, and Italy are in a rhythm.
Denegri, good! Boy, that was big from Denegri. He has been able to pop that three-pointer, and he just knocked in another one. He is now 3 of 4 from deep. Kubica for 3, off the front of the rim. Mezzanotte, oh, he has it taken away. Great play from the big center, Gadiliauskas. Boy, that was big.
It's all little things, isn't it? Mezzanotte's not supposed to stick it on the floor then. He's supposed to hold it and get it to this guy, Denegri, puts it on the floor and turns it over.
Well, Mezzanotte gets it back and he makes amends. Great pass. Mezzanotte makes it. And he will go to the line. Kubica picks up his 3rd. He's been absolutely anonymous, Kubica. Watch this. Beautiful play again by the captain. The pump fake from Mezzanotte. But the pump fake is just a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Oh, when people go flyby, yeah.
It's not beautiful for the defense.
But that's the second time he's had him on the same type of play. You know, it's showing the ball and people are going to try and block. And
now it's their biggest lead of the game without question. 48-33, and I'm sure the people that are watching up in the Baltics must be stunned.
Stunned is definitely the right word, because this is not the script at all. And Jeff, Italy are still in this place where it's pressure, but they're not getting beat. Everything's in front of them. When they keep it in front of them, they really are controlling what's happening offensively for Lithuania.
Stankovičius penetrates. Oh, he gets rejected by Mezzanotte. Now Italy off and running. It's a 4-on-1 break. Great defense from Giedraitis. And now it's Lithuania with numbers, Stankovičius, and this is the type of game they want to play.
Absolutely what they want to do. They just dodged the bullet. 4-on-1 break, and they just make the only place they were going to pass it to turn it over, and they picked it.
Well, that was a 5-point swing. That should have been 2 points going the other way for Italy. But instead of being up 17, they're up 12. Inside, and the foul before the shot. Is it Kubica?
No, I think it's
Giedraitis? No.
Yeah, Giedraitis. Yeah, it was caught on. They switched. He was caught. Great IQ, great recognition. See, he's got the switch. He just holds his space.
Right.
Gives him space to throw the ball into. That's just great recognition. That's heads up, and that's where Italy are now at the moment. That storm they weathered at the start of the third, when they were pegged back to a 4-point game.
Lithuania had the ball, and they're going for the lead.
Yeah, and it's and every time they've been asked a question, they've found an answer, because they've gone back to game plan. They've gone back to what they feel comfortable doing. And as long as they keep making their free throws, they'll be fine.
Well, Auxilia misses the first and makes the second. Jokubaitis. Masulis down the low block. Is he going to take on Caruso? Yes, he is. And Caruso is going to foul. And even though he picks up his 4th, in the grand scheme of things, the way Lithuania is shooting their free throws, it's not a bad foul.
It's interesting when Lithuania have gone to that little matchup, or whoever he's being guarded, Masulis has really made good things happen, whether it's to kick it out or score or draw contact. They've only not been able to maximize it because they haven't been able to make throws.
And Masulis finally gets one to fall. Looks like he's maybe taking a shot to the eye, the right eye. If not, he's maybe got a scratch or something. And Lithuania continuing to crash those offensive boards, and Italy escape. Denegri, you're going to leave me open? I'm going to take it! And that's what he's done all game long. And Denegri now 4-5 from three-point range. That was huge. 15 points, the advantage.
3 from 4 though, and they just left him open. They went under a screen.
And Sedekauskas drives in, puts it up strong. And if that's on Caruso, that's it. He is out of here.
It's a tough move there. Again, direct penetration. Take the contact as opposed to trying to be a little too clever on that penetration. Sedekauskas got to get himself going again. He's in double digits, and he's the only guy in double digits. And he actually makes it a successful three-point play.
Well, look at Italy break that press. Precision, but now a little bit trap, and Denegri pulls it out. We're in the final minute of the third quarter. Lithuania had made that comeback at the start. Italy went back in front by 15. Now Buccarelli puts up a jumper. He was rushed. And the ball saved inside to Jokubaitis. He gets it to Sedekauskas. And great defense. Kubica, meanwhile, gets it. Jokubaitis, they'll try to hold it for one, presumably. Maybe crash the boards. They're going to turn it over incredibly. And, you know, Italy dodged a bullet as Buccarelli saved it in bounds. Gave Lithuania another shot at it. But I guess Italy will take it, leading by 12 at the end of 3.
See, like, points-wise, that's a 21-point quarter for Italy. They've responded to the up-tempo style by just making shots. You know, and they're up there near 40% from the three-point line because they're in their rhythm, though, and that's the thing. They're, the last possession, Jeff, where we saw the pressure.
Meanwhile,
when we, the end of the third period where you were commenting on the pressure, they got up the floor and tried to trap. But then when they get it over the halfway line, they step off it. And it's almost like, stay with the pressure. Don't give them anything quick, but stay with the pressure and ask them a question. Ask Italy to create individually as opposed to getting them to move the ball and coming off of whatever they're putting on the floor in terms of whichever set they're running. And that will keep the tempo high. But now you're down to the last quarter, and Italy just have to take care of the ball. How many points do they have to score to just be safe here? Because they're up 12. If they score 12 points in this quarter, it's a tough ask now for Lithuania. However, if you're averaging 100 points a game, still got a chance because you're going to make some of those threes. I don't think Italy are never going to be safe, but they're in control at the moment.
You just cannot expect to win a basketball game if you're missing 17 of 32 free throws. It's almost inexplicable. Fourth quarter underway. Jokubaitis in. Slavinskas, Masulis, Kubica. Sedekauskas is also in the game. And look at that defense from Italy. Kubica drives in and finally has a little bit of joy. Gets it back to 10. See if that gets him going.
See, like here, I think they should be just that little bit closer. Get in the passing lanes. Try and create things with your defense. Right now, there's only 8 on the shot clock. Really just make them work.
Pajula out to a KK. KK pulls up, and Visconti flies in for the offensive rebound. He's blocked, and the ball goes out of bounds. Italy will get it with 12. That was a terrific, terrific board from Visconti.
Yeah. But they had all that pressure up the floor, and then they just didn't exploit it.
Look at that, Okeke, and now the miss from Auxilia. And another opportunity for Lithuania. Kubica. Jokubaitis. And, well, just got 2 on a drive from Kubica, but they settled for the corner 3. Now Auxilia. Oh, what a beautiful play. Auxilia just kind of felt his way into the lane and went up.
Well, by comparison to Italy are just reactive to Italy. There's no, when I'm closing it, they closed out and allowed the middle penetration. It gives them so many more options.
And Sedekerskis.
Tough move.
Boy. 14 points for him. And you can see Remontas Grigas over there shouting out instructions, just trying to get that trap, that interception. And the Negri puts up another three, that time not the greatest of shots. Sedekerskis, and there a block has been called on Pajola. That was not, the foul was not on Masulis, but it was on Pajola of Italy. Watch this. He steps right in front of him. Good call. So Bucarelli is going to come back into the game. You know, if you're Capobianco, you're just not going to be comfortable even with a 10-point lead at this stage. I mean, this is a Lithuania team that can put the points on the board in a hurry.
He knows the whole game is won and lost with how much defense they play. This is going to be one of those like heart stoppers for him.
Oh, and the ball goes off of Masulis. Right idea from Kubica, really. Just maybe a little bit too hard to pass. And off the hands of Masulis. It's impressive how Italy break that press, isn't it?
But then once they get it over, they just stand off them again. I think they just have to pressure. This isn't working for Lithuania. Get after him a little bit more.
And Okeke turns and puts it up and in with the left hand.
It's a far too easy catch in the post. It was just allowed to catch it in the low block.
Look at that. Assist-wise, 14 for Italy. Surprisingly, 13 for Lithuania. And then the hands. The foul called on De Negri. Third foul on Italy. 2.5 minutes in here into this fourth quarter. A little bit of a mismatch. So De Negri, just his first foul. Jokubaitis. Kuboka misses. And Bucarelli, look at Lithuania. And a foul on Auxilia. Auxilia picks up the foul for Italy. Well, Lithuania doing a good job of crashing the boards there. Slavinskas backs his way down, and Bucarelli with the rebound. Haven't seen Antella yet in the second half. Now Bucarelli. Entry pass to Okeke. And good hands from Jokubaitis.
Possession still with Italy, so they got 4 seconds. It's a big 4 seconds. Again, every one of these plays becomes a big play for Italy. They keep it ticking over. Lithuania's got to make things happen with their defense.
Good call by the ref. Clearly he was tied up. And they don't even inbound the ball, so that's a wasted opportunity for Italy. Kubica drives in, a little bit out of control, but a foul called on De Negri.
I think that makes Kubica about 1 from 10 from the field. He just cannot get his, their leading scorer. He's back on the free throw line where he's only 50% for the game. And he's going to be no better than 50% from the game still.
showing signs of getting it going here in the fourth quarter. Makes that one. So Auxilia. And Visconti decides to take it himself across midcourt. Passes over to Denegri. Visconti, lefty. And Kuboka with the rebound. Kuboka puts it up, and again misses. Offensive rebound, Slavinskas. Sedikerskas over to Kuboka. Again misses, and Italy, strong rebound. Now they're breaking. Auxilia, held off. He saw Jokubaitis coming around.
That's a huge rebound by Okeke. He had no right to get that. That rebound in a 3-on-1 break, and they execute it.
Sedikerskas just lost it as he went baseline and turns it back over. Well, that was a nice no-look pass from Denegri over to Bucarelli.
Jeff, there's still an eternity in the game, 6 minutes, like 5:40 to go. But sooner or later, Lithuania have to go after this defensively, much more than they're doing at the moment.
Well, Denegri puts it up. And Bucarelli with the offensive rebound. A new 14 for Italy. And Bucarelli just kind of looked a bit awkward, didn't it?
Yep. But that's the first time someone jumped into a passing lane. When he looks to pass, someone gets into the lane, like out of shot. For the first time, that's in a half-court defensive situation, they've tried to create with their defense, Lithuania.
Now Antelli is going to come in for Visconti, and that's more of a defensive move.
Well, this is where they try and close out the game with the two-guard look, and even though Penn has played most minutes, these two have been by far the best two combinations for Italy so far in the game.
Kuboka. And again, just misfires. Denegri has it. He's going to hold it up. Antelli. Less than 5 minutes remaining now. Bucarelli at the line. Okeke goes up for another impressive rebound. And went back up for it. Capobianco wanted the foul call, but none was given. Stankiewicz for three! Finally, one falls for Lithuania and gets it back to 10. Now they need to get a turnover. Almost. Antelli under control, back to Bucarelli, and a lot of the iron there. Kuboka for three, front and back of the rim, and stays out. And the coach is stuck with him, and he's just having an awful time of it. 1 of 13 from the floor. Kuboka just, in fact, now 1 of 14 from the floor. And he comes out. Sedikerskas comes back in as you look at the replay. So Kuboka came in shooting 36% from three-point range. You just can't buy a basket.
He's 0 for on today. Well, he's averaging like 18 points, literally 18 points a game, and he's just not getting anything to go.
Antelli able to get out of trouble into Okeke, and Okeke powered his way up for that left-handed shot, that layup. 3.5 minutes to go now. The clock starting to become the enemy for Lithuania. Quick response team that time from Giedraitis to Stankiewicz. De Negri gets it back to Akeke. Oh, he was able to get the shot up, and he will go to the line.
It's almost too late, isn't it? It's not too late in terms of the game, but where has this been? Because you can see it's making Italy rush. Now, okay, he's finishing plays or getting fouled, but they've been close to getting hands on turnover, on passes. The tempo gets a little quicker. They get points going the other way. But it's 3:20 to go. They've definitely got the firepower to get back, but they just need stops.
Well, Kubica's going to go back into the game.
There are times from a coaching perspective where he's always delivered. And whether it be like the European Championships where he's like at 28 points in the final, in the medal game, he's always delivered. So you've got to go back to him. Otherwise, it's a gamble. He's going to deliver. You've got to believe he's going to deliver.
Giedraitis over to Sedikerskas. And he drives in, earns a trip to the line. Auxilia picks up the foul. Sedikerskas rattles in the first one. Worried looks on the faces of the fans. Sedikerskas has 16 points, 17. Rodriguez looking on, hoping he can get something here in the backcourt. Antelli, are they going to get it across? They just get it across. Bucarelli over to Auxilia. Pulls up and ball bounces over the backboard. But they use 20 seconds. Now Italy's defense. Try to put the clamps on Lithuania. Can somebody break free for a three for Lithuania? And Okeke gets the bump up high, and that is free throws for Giedraitis.
And that's a poor foul, isn't it? There's no. I know they've shot poorly from the free throw line, but they're going towards the halfway line. They're not really. There's no way they're looking to turn the corner.
Well, this will be his first attempt, Giedraitis. And it hasn't worked for anybody else, and it hasn't worked for him.
He's also caught the problem.
It's contagious. It's called missed free throw-itis.
Jeez, that was another 0 for 2.
Well, the Italians getting closer to a famous win here. And the turnover. Misulis, Sedikerskas drives up and fouled by Antelli. .2:25 to go. So Lithuania back at the line where they've had a horror show. They're shooting 47.37%, 18 of 38. And Sedikerskas actually is above 60% now. He's made 8 of 12. And 9 of 13 for him, and now it's back to an 8-point game. Post brings a journal for Lithuania. And Capobianco calls timeout.
Yeah, you get to the free throw line 40 times in a game, you're going to win a game. In normal circumstances, they've given Italy a 20-point start. They're not going to shoot 100%, but like any 60% would have had them right in this game. And it's on days like this, the only thing you can fall back on is your defense, and they haven't really managed to get enough off their defense either. So those two factors, and Italy have just done a tremendous job at controlling tempo from the vast majority of the game. 2:25 to go, they're 8 up. I only fear for Italy now is they try to defend too much what they have and forget that they've still got to score. But you don't need a perfect game for 38 minutes. You need it for 40 to win this game. And you still have 8 points, a 3-possession game. That's 3 many threes for Lithuania. There is plenty of time, and they are going to shoot the ball quickly.
Folks, as Bucarelli inbounds it, he throws it off of Lithuania, but in fact it goes off of Antelli,
yeah.
And this gives it back to Lithuania. Let me remind everybody, you can catch up on all the latest information in this competition on this game going to U19 World Cup.basketball. The latest updates from the ground here in Cairo if you follow the live blog. So that's U19 World Cup.basketball. Well, the door has opened just a little bit more now for Lithuania.
Well, you know, the other thing that you always worry about with an underdog in this situation is when do they start to think, can we win? When do they start worrying about the fact we're not supposed to be here? We're not supposed to win because Lithuania are going to go and score all these points. So when do they start worrying about the situation and thinking, oh, I can't make a mistake? Because they haven't played like that. They've played in a way that says, this is what we're going to do, this is the way we're going to win the game. Now that they've got 2 minutes to just get over the line, and the first sign of a crack, if that's what it is, they turn it over on the inbound after their own timeout. And it's, you know, if Lithuania come out here and get an out-of-bounds play that frees something up and they make it, all of a sudden the energy will sap out the Italians and the Lithuanians will be up the floor. They get another turnover. All of a sudden, after all this time, Lithuania it's a one-possession game. That's how tight this game is always going to be because of the way the Italians had to win it.
That's a very good point. Jokubaitis inbounds it. Masulis for 3. Good! Lithuania now trail by just 5. Auxilia over to Denegri, and they get it to Akeke. He hands it off, and a foul on Lithuania. They almost came up with a steal.
But again, you had just Denegri's composure in that situation, just to, we're not going to turn it over, I'm going to make the pass. So it's a game of inches. They were inches from turning it over. I like the fact that Okeke took it to the ring though as well.
And they handed it to Okeke, and he goes up for the jam. Well, that was big. Lithuania really were breathing down their necks on that press, and they couldn't quite get it. Sedekauskas into Masulis, and Okeke commits the foul.
And you know what you'd normally say, you know, team, if you're a good shooter, you're a good shooter. You'll normally shoot to stats and whatever else. I can't believe that Lithuania are going to carry on going, 50%. We always say as well, you know, in the last couple of minutes, what you shoot from the free throw line doesn't matter because the pressure's on. It's about you stepping up and making it as Okeke fouls out. But shooter's got to step up, make 2. If he makes 2, it's back to that 5-point game. They'll press again. This game is far from done.
But it's also, you know, drives home the fact that how they've been able to kind of create this chance now. Why have they waited so long? And more missed free throws for Lithuania. Below 50% now for the day. 20 of 41. It's a horror show.
Oh.
And it's trying to get another turnover. Antelli over to Bucarelli. Denegri hands it off to Antelli. Now back to Denegri, over to Bucarelli, wanting to take more time off the clock. They passed up a good shot. Denegri, good!
Denegri's just been phenomenal from the perimeter.
Yeah.
That's a step back, lean back to like literally make a 2.
1:20 to go now. Lithuania down 9. Masulis goes up and he gets it right back. Now Antelli, and again, Italy. Happy to take time off the clock. 7-point deficit facing this Lithuanian team. Antelli behind the back pass. And Mezzanotte goes up, enters a trip to the line. Masula's now with his second foul. And again, the pump fake. Well, we talk about the free throw issues for Lithuania. Italy now 13 of 16, shooting 81%.
And you know you can't always get down to one number and everything else. However, the game is summed up just in that stat. You know, one team's stepped up and made them, one team hasn't. And the game has just been able to rerun at this tempo just because of that one stat.
Well, they did miss one there. Masulis gets the rebound. Stankiewicz is going to launch a three. Gets iron. Back out to Jokubaitis. Hands it off to Stankiewicz inside. Oh, and Italy have committed the foul. And that just breathes a little bit more life into Lithuania. Down 6. If he makes this, it's a 5-point game. And Stankiewicz has converted a 3-point play earlier in the game. So Antelli fouls out. That is number 5. And Panna comes back in. He misses, but Lithuania get it back, and Jokubaitis had an opportunity. Now Misulis has it, and all of a sudden, Lithuania looking at a potential 4-point trip down the floor.
It makes this as a one-possession game.
In fact, a 5-point trip down the floor.
All they have to do is rebound it, and they're home and hosed, and this could make it a one-possession game after all the trials and tribulations from the free throw line.
And Masulis makes it, and as you said, just a 3-point deficit. Exilia fouled by Stankiewicz. So Lithuania will put Italy on the line, and you have to wonder about this.
Yep.
With Auxilia, in this game, he's made 6 of 8 at the line. Do you not just trust your defense? Well, Auxilia makes the first. Fascinating game. I mean, Lithuania really have had their struggles, but give them credit. They haven't stopped fighting. Well, indeed, he makes just 1 of 2. Now Lithuania with another opportunity. Sadikerskas drives in, scores, and gets it to 2. 28.7 seconds remain. Auxilia, who just was 1 of 2 at the line, might they foul him? And they get it over just in the nick of time. 1 second to spare. And Stankiewicz commits the foul, and Panna will go to the line. And he's come in shooting not brilliantly.
He's under 60% on the tournament so far. Under 60% on the tournament so far, and you're stepping up there. If you miss them, you're in a very bad place. If he makes both, they feel comfortable. If he makes one, it's a one-possession game. Both teams have timeouts.
Well, he misses the first. He was 6 of 11 before this game. And he makes the second, so back to a 3-point game. Now, the question is, will Italy foul to prevent? I mean, it seems like the sensible, what you want to do. You don't want to give away a 3.
No.
And also, Lithuania have struggled to hit their free throws.
But
on the other hand, they're struggling boxing them out on the glass.
Well, they've got so much joy out quick penetration. There's still plenty. It's 18.6. You're going to get it in the front court. A quick penetration. Do you take that one? Yeah, I would take it. Both teams have got timeouts that advance the ball, but Negro was going into the, like literally they scored, he's already asking coach, do I foul, do I foul? You would think if they can't steal the inbound pass, they'll let them try and create a little bit, but then foul before the shot. So at least they're going to take some time off and then have them shoot the two. But hey, Lithuania haven't made a free throw all night, so why are they going to make them now?
Well, Lithuania haven't lost in the tournament. They came into this, won all 3 of their group games. They won their round of 16 game.
Hey Jeff, Italy have been here twice already before. 2 close games earlier in the competition. They're going a 2-point game to advance to the quarterfinals. So you got to think, you know, they've been here before. It puts them in great shape in terms of trying to get over the line.
Jokubaitis is going to inbound the ball, or he's going to try to. And Kulvika just hits the outside of it, and then he kind of stood there and watched it, looked the other way, and now Lithuania have to foul. And you really have to wonder, I mean, he had an open 3, but why do you go to Kulvika, who hasn't come close, really?
It's one of those things from he's always delivered. I'm going to go back to him again, but it wasn't a good-looking 3 either. He didn't come and get set. It was like it was rushed. Catch and dive to the bucket with it. Get fouled and
yeah. I think you're having more success driving than you foul Italy again if you have to. Now a 5-point game.
10.1 though with this amount of time. There's plenty of time. If he runs an out-of-bounds play and gets a quick good one, you know, there's still plenty of time here. There's still enough time if they can get the shot out of the out-of-bounds.
I mean, you had Jokubaitis, who was 1 of 3 from 3-point range. He was in the game. Masulis, 1 of 5. Sedekarskas had hit 1 of his 6 attempts, and Stankevičius, in fact, had hit 2 of 4. Instead, they worked the 3 to Kulvika, who now has missed all 8 of his attempts from 3-point range. I guess really, you know, overall, if you're Lithuania, you're thinking if you can get a chance to tie it, you take it.
Yeah.
And then maybe you get the offensive rebound if you miss it. But the problem was he didn't even hit the rim.
No. It just wasn't. To me, it was like whatever happens, like he didn't get set. He didn't really get it in looking good shape to shoot the basketball. But it was like, hey, I'm supposed to take it, so I will. Well, it's right in front, the same position. What they're gonna run to get a better look.
Masulis pump fake, puts up a 3, misses, and Stankevičius with a rebound, and then a foul. Auxilia, I think they've called a foul.
I'm not sure.
And the looks on the Lithuania players' faces pretty much says it all. And yeah, it's now let's see, he'll definitely try to make the first.
Well, I think he has to make both. And then
they get a steal and try 3.
But you know that Capobianco is going to take the timeout and walk it down the floor, so.
Only 3.8 seconds remaining. It's a 4-point game. Stranger things have happened, folks. Don't go away. And he makes both. And now back to a 3-point game. And Capobianco doesn't want to take any chances. The Italian coach calls a timeout. He wants to make sure on that inbounds play, they don't throw it away and give Lithuania the ball.
I mean, he's even got to worry about where he tries to throw the ball in. You don't want to throw it back towards the halfway line here. If they get in the lane, then it's also a good place to try and steal. You just want the right guy to catch it, and then if they get fouled, you know they're going to probably make. I think the Lithuanians are out of timeouts, so there's no way they can miss the throws or walk it down and get another out of bounds. So it really is a case of steal or nothing here. It's a heartbreaking place to lose if you lose in the quarterfinals as well. You've no medal chance, you just got to carry on.
23 of 46 from the free throw line. Ultimately, that is what has undone Lithuania tonight. They have, this afternoon, they have just not been able to throw the ball into the ocean. At the line, they're 20 of 65 from the floor. They're 5 of 30 from three-point range. So they advance the ball with the timeout. Buccarelli gets it to Denegri, and he is fouled by Stankevicius. About a second and a half comes off of the clock. If he makes one of these, you have to think that's it.
You've got to think. But
unless Italy were to foul.
This game has been a completely upside down game from what everyone was expected. But
now if he makes this one, it's good night, Irene.
Yep. Denegri's been superb as well, all over the floor. It's actually pretty fitting he's on the line. You know, he's just done a great job.
And he makes both. And it's time to party in Italy. Your team has knocked off unbeaten Lithuania, who simply were not firing tonight. And you got to credit that Italian defense. Look at the celebration. They will play for a medal. It's shock and disappointment for Lithuania. Mark, I mean, free throws, three-point shooting, Lithuania, they were out-rebounded in the end. All you can do is look at yourself if you're Lithuania, and you can also just have to tip your hat to Italy. I mean, they came out with a game plan. Denegri had the 18 points in the end. As you said, fitting that he finished on the line.
When teams do what they've just done in that game, where we're going to play this way and we're going to make it work, and they stay with it, and that's hard. It doesn't matter how talented you are. When you're young, you get carried away with situations. Defensively, that was just a clinic of how to actually contest. They contested everything, but the bottom line is, if you go 50% from the free throw line and you get fouled that often, the whole game plan was underpinned by the fact that Lithuania couldn't make free throws. That's a horrible way. They're going to have to live and learn with that defeat, and they're going to have nightmares about going to the free throw line. They'll never shoot that badly again. It just happens to happen in a World Cup. That's the way the game is, and you've got to just take your hat off to well. Italy just came out with a great game plan, executed it, and were just absolutely phenomenal.
Well, really, you feel for Masulis, but you got to be. He was the worst, 6 of 13 at the line. But you got to be happy for these guys, the Italians, celebrating at midcourt. Look at him. I'm not sure that anybody expected him to be in this position, especially coming up against an unbeaten Lithuania. But we talked about it. This is a Lithuania team that was taken to the wire by a good Japanese team. They survived, and now they've come out and they have just done enough to beat Lithuania.
It was always going to be that. They were never going to blow them away. It was always going to be close. And even though they're up by 12, they were never safe. And look what it means. There's expectation on those young guys' shoulders, and they haven't come up with what they wanted to do, get to a World Cup semi-final.
Well, Slavinskas, he was in tears, the captain. And again, as we look at the highlights, Kolbika came in, terrific player, just 5 points. He was 1 of 15 from the floor. Sedekarskas had 20 points and 12 rebounds for Lithuania. But it's the Italians who march on. And now you have to wonder about their possibilities.
Well, no one's going to look forward to playing them, are they? Because it doesn't matter how talented you are, they're going to make you earn everything. And confidence and momentum with younger players is a great thing, and this Italian team will start to believe now. They've won 3 tough games.